Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV with your NBA Eastern Conference preview, your Fade the Public for the Eastern Conference Game 1 between the Heat and Celtics Wednesday night, May the 17th on TNT. All these games on TNT throughout the Eastern Conference Finals the next couple weeks. And look, the Miami Heat, nobody thought they'd be here. A lot of people, including myself, thought the Celtics would be. I'm going to break this down for you, not only let you know where the public is on both the side and total in Game 1 on Wednesday night, but also how to make some money throughout this series over the next couple weeks. Quick reminder, I've made some money in the NBA the last 2 years. In fact, nobody has won more in the NBA, ranked number one at WagerTalk.com on NBA sides alone, up over 166 units the last 2 years. This year, 2023, has been no exception. Sides and totals already this calendar year up 96 units of profit as we head into the conference finals this week. Might not be a bad time to get my NBA playoff best bets, and it also might not be a bad time to get them for free. It's always a good time to get them for free, and you can do so right now when you get the next 2 months of baseball. Here's how it works. We've got an MLB special right now on my page through the All-Star game in mid-July, and if you buy it right now, I'm including the rest of the NBA season for free. No promo code needed. That's over a $100 value instantly. All Eastern Conference, all Western Conference best bets, the entire NBA Finals as well for free when you get the next 2 months of my red hot baseball. Baseball's been fantastic this year as well. Don't sleep on MLB. There's money to be made every day in baseball. Get the next 2 months of baseball through the All-Star game in mid-July, and I'm including the rest of the NBA season through the finals for free. No promo code needed. Go to my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. All right, let's look at the Eastern Conference Finals Game 1 between the Heat and Celtics on Wednesday night, once again on TNT at 8:30 Eastern. First of all, the Heat. What a remarkable run just to get here. First of all, they were the 8 seed having to play their way in, trailing late to the Hawks. Didn't even look like they were going to make the playoffs. They find a way to win. They didn't have to take on the best team in the NBA, at least in the regular season, the Milwaukee Bucks, champions from a couple years ago. Milwaukee was a 1-13 favorite to win that series. Miami was 8 or 9 to 1 on the buyback. Heat were 50 to 1 to win it 4 games to 1, and that's exactly what they did. Now, granted, they were a bit fortunate as Giannis got hurt 10 minutes into game 1. He missed another game, and they were a little shorthanded. But Milwaukee, I also thought was an overrated team. I said when the playoffs began, I thought the two teams to beat in the East were Philly and Boston. And it came down to that. And obviously, Philly was in the driver's seat after winning Game 5 in Boston. Celtics made a nice comeback in Game 6 to win. Tatum finally started playing well in the fourth quarter, and then Tatum continued to play extremely well in Game 7 on Sunday. And here we go. The Celtics are now the favorite to win it all. What's really interesting, after Philly won Game 5 last week, they were a 3-1 favorite to win the NBA title just 1 week ago. And now they're eliminated from the postseason. Pretty crazy to think about that. 1 week ago, the team that was favored to win it overall is no longer playing, but that's how the NBA works. It can change on a dime. These best of 7 series. Now, game 1, not nearly as important as the other games are going to be in this one, and that is a concern if you're a Boston fan because Boston has shown the tendency to take some time off. Even though I think they're the most talented team, I think they are the best team in the NBA. They were the favorite in the finals last year, and of course, they came up short against Golden State despite being the favorite. It's Boston's playoff series to lose here, and it's really, I think, their championship to lose at this point. With that said, though, the Celtics have let leads slip throughout the regular season and in the postseason, and you do wonder about their focus a little bit here in Game 1 on Wednesday night after a monster Game 6 win on the road and then a huge Game 7 blowout win. Don't forget, Boston was down by 9 early in the first quarter in that game, ended up winning by over 20. So Celtics have sleptwalk at times. We'll see if they come focused in Game 1. The public thinks they will not. In fact, ding, 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 public dog alert. The Miami Heat are the most public play here in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The public is pretty heavy on Miami as we head closer to Wednesday, and definitely calling them a public dog here, plus the 8 to 8.5. We'll see if this line drops a little as we get closer to tip-off. It opened 8. It's pretty much held 8 to 8.5 here over the last day or so. But once again, the Miami Heat, a very public side here in Game 1 on Wednesday night. As far as the total, the public is leaning towards the over as well. Opened at 210. It's up to 210.5. Even see a sharp leading indicator book at 211. So there's a little bit of early sharp money on the over, and the public is also following the way. The public's leaning over, but the most public play in this game is the Miami Heat plus the 8 to 8.5. So we do have a public underdog here. We'll see how this one turns out in Game 1 on Wednesday night. Keep in mind, these two teams played in the conference finals last year. They also played in the conference finals in 2020, the COVID season, when the Miami Heat went all the way to and lost to the Lakers. So the Heat beat them in 2020. The Celtics beat the Heat last year. So it's now the third time in the past 4 years that we've had Miami and Boston in the conference finals. I think we could definitely look into last year's game. Now, one major coaching mismatch here is the rookie interim head coach of Boston against Spoelstra, one of the better coaches in the league for Miami. That is a difference from last year, obviously. And I do think that's one edge Miami has, along with the fact, as I said earlier, Boston is complacent at time. With that said, I do not see the Celtics losing the series. I think they are the best team in the NBA. I think they should win the NBA title. Game one might be a different story, but that's why the Celtics are a 5-1 favorite, minus 550, take back around plus 420 on the Heat. So this would be a pretty big upset overall in 7 games. So how do we best attack this? Well, if Miami is going to steal a game or two, I think game one is logical. If they don't steal game one, they probably go back home down 0-2. As we know, teams down 0-2 at home are very strong plays as well. So I do think at some point this will be a 2-1 series, Boston in the lead. And then we'll see if they stay focused for game 4 or not. Most likely the Celtics probably win this in 5 or 6. 5 is the most likely outcome according to the odds makers, plus 190. Contrast that to the Lakers-Nuggets series where plus 190 was 6 games or 7 games. So that shows, once again, this is a more lopsided series. 6 games is plus 245, and once again, that would be in Miami game 6. So that's where it gets tricky. Boston has games 5 and 7 at home, and that's why winning 5 games is most likely, just because they would have home court in game 5. But as we saw in the Philly series, they lost 2 home games, games 1 and game 5, had to win more of them on the road. So you never know what might happen. But basically a 2-1 odds that they win this in 5, 2.5-1 that they win it in 6 games. By the way, if you're looking for a Boston sweep, you can get 4 plus 410. If you want a Miami sweep, you get 45-1. I don't see that happening, but I do think the Heat probably get a game, maybe a game or 2. Keep in mind, Atlanta got a game. Philadelphia got 3 games. So the Celtics, do let other teams get back into these series. At least we've seen that so far this postseason. As far as player props, obviously Tatum has been incredible at times. He's also been very sleepy at times. Back in game 2, he had only 7 points, played only 19 minutes. He had only 19 points in that game against the Sixers. But what did he have? The final 7 to win that? So, he carried that into game 7 with 51 points. You would expect some regression, though, as he has been a little bit inconsistent here in the playoffs. That's another concern if you're backing Boston here in game 1. We'll have to see how Tatum plays. Let me know your thoughts, by the way, on the series price, also on the player props in the comment section below. I read all the comments. I reply back. I love the input. It's us against the sports books. We win together. The more information we can share, the more angles we can come up with, the better our chances in the long run. Obviously, Jimmy Butler is going to be the key for the Miami Heat. Hard to imagine that they do anything unless he's having monster games. As far as player points in game 1, Jimmy Butler's 27.5. Jason Tatum, who I mentioned, is 29.5. Once again, Tatum has gone 36 and 51 in 2 of the last 3 playoff games. But overall, in the Sixers series, for the last 6 games, he's stayed under 27. So it'll be very interesting for me. I think Tatum and Butler are the keys here to game 1. Obviously, the Celtics have a little bit more depth and scoring power elsewhere. But the Celtics, they're up for it. If they don't come focused here, this is going to be a tight series. And I do think Miami gets 1 or 2 games, maybe 1. I'll call for Boston in 5. I think the plus 190 is probably the play if you're looking for exact games. And once again, if you're looking for exact series price, Boston 4 games to 1 is plus 210. 4 games to 2 is plus 375. And once again, they have shown the ability to win game 6s on the road. So that might not be the worst play overall. I do think we can look at some of the stats from the series last season and dig in a little bit more and maybe find some value. As far as totals go, in the Milwaukee series, we went over in all 5 games. They then kind of zigzagged with the New York Knicks. A lot of the games landed right near the total. The Knicks, of course, have gone under every game against Cleveland. Now we get a Boston team that against Atlanta in the first round, they went 2 unders to start the series, but then they went over the next 4 straight. Game 1 against Philly went over, and then they had another couple overs in games 3 and 4 and 5 before the last 2 stayed under. So Boston has played some high-scoring games, and as I mentioned earlier at the top of the video, we have seen some early sharp money coming in the over. It's knocked it from 210 up to 210.5, even a 211 out there. Public is also on the over. So wouldn't be surprised to see this total continue to climb. I'm doing this video on Tuesday, but the game's not till Wednesday night. Wouldn't be surprised to see the total continue to climb as we get closer to tip-off. As far as last year's games in this series, we dig into the late May games. Game one of the series saw 225 points. The total was only 203.5. Obviously, that went well over the total. Keep in mind, though, Miami actually had home court last year in that series, and they were a 4-point favorite, won by 11 in game one. It's really crazy to think that Boston was the underdog, at least the lower seeded team in that series, because they went on to win it, of course, and then they were the favorite to beat Golden State in the finals. And as we mentioned, of course, they came up short. And by the way, if you look at that series last year, the average totals right around 204, 205. So the total of 210.5 seems pretty low for a moderate NBA game, but it's actually about 3 baskets higher than what the total was in this series last year. And by the way, they came back in game two. Boston smoked Miami off that loss, won by 25, soared over the total. They had 70 at the half, ended up with 127. Once again, showing that even last year, Boston could kind of turn it off, but turn it on when they have to. I definitely would say the Celtics off a loss will be a very good play in this series. And that would be the preferred way to play it, in my opinion. If Boston loses a game, let's look for them to bounce back with the zigzag, as I do believe they're the best team in the NBA. Keep in mind, top 3 efficiency, both offense and defense. The other 2 times that's happened, the Warriors did it twice. They won the championship both years in recent years, being the top 3 offense and defensive team. Celtics only had the second best record in the league, but they're the best team, in my opinion. We'll just see if they stay focused, though, in game one. And once again, the public thinks they won't. Miami Heat, a very public underdog here in game one. Public also leaning towards the over on Wednesday night. Hey, hope you found this video useful. Just a quick dive into game one of the series overall. Don't forget to check out NBA Tip-Off on a nightly basis here on WagerTalk TV throughout the playoffs. I was on Monday earlier this week with Rob Vino and Brian Leonard and Joe Ranieri. We broke down both the Denver-LA Lakers series and the Boston-Miami series in depth. To go back and check Monday's episode of NBA Tip-Off for series previews. And I'll be back this Friday as well, talking some more NBA Game 2 of this series between Miami and Boston on NBA Tip-Off at 4 p.m. Eastern on WagerTalk TV as well. Don't forget to hit the like and hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell for instant alerts. You never know when I might sneak some of these Fade the Public videos in during the NBA playoffs. When you hit subscribe and hit the bell, you get instant notifications when these videos go live. You'll be the first to watch and comment below. And please do comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this series, where you think there's value. Give me some player props, guys you'll be looking to play on or fade in this series as well, and who you like in game one on Wednesday night. It's been a fantastic NBA season, been a fantastic couple years in the NBA. We're up over 166 units the last 2 years alone on NBA sides. This year in 2023, sides and totals up over 96 units already in the NBA. And you now can get the rest of the playoffs for free, both the Eastern and Western Conference Finals and the entire NBA Finals for free when you get my baseball 2-month special. That's every baseball play every day for the next couple months through the All-Star game in mid-July, and I'm including the rest of the NBA for free. It's a huge discount, instant discount, because there's no promo code. Buy the baseball, get the NBA for free. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Speaking of baseball, don't forget about the free plays. I post one each and every day on my page at WagerTalk.com. Free plays hitting almost 60% this year. It's a great way to build your bankroll and buy one of those direct subscriptions, including that Buy Baseball, Get Basketball free. Use the free plays, build your bankroll, and then get my strong best bets every day at WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter as well, at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, Merril, at Steve Merril on Twitter. And I'll be back all week long here on WagerTalk TV with more videos for you, more great free content. Enjoy the games. Best of luck, and I'll talk to you again soon.